Okay. So this is the 20th of January, 2024. We're doing the 4-step submodality belief change. This one. You've all done the submodality change, and the submodality is 2 columns. You always start with what needs to be changed. It took me ages to find that out, because what happens is if you start the opposite way around, the behavior goes twice as not good. So the first column is always you start with what has to change. So the smoking, or the weight release, or the procrastination to motivation, or whatever it is. That's the first column. You fill in the submodalities, whether it's big or small, bright or dim, etc. And then the second column, you break your state, smell popcorn, etc. Or nice day, isn't it? Or haven't you got beautiful eyes? Second column is what you want to change it to. So with smoking, with weight release, etc., you're usually going to do an aversion. So if you want someone not to ever have chocolate again, you're going to do an aversion, and you're going to switch it out with dog poop. Okay, dog poop works really well, by the way, in anything to do with aversion. Smoking, 100% dog poop, because it even smells the same. It's got the methane gas in it. With something which is, you want someone procrastination to motivation, it would be what I'm procrastinating about, the filling the taxes in, or clean the cupboard out, or painting my bedroom, etc. That's your first column. And the second column then would be something that you absolutely love doing, love doing, like, oh my God. And where you get the moment there is the moment of anticipation. You don't get to the completion result. If you're procrastinating about something, it's before it happens. So what we want to do is make sure that the motivation is also just before it happens. So usually with me, it's as I'm getting on a plane to go for a holiday, for a vacation. And it was literally on the steps on the way up to the airplane. It's not in the waiting room, with my passport in my hand, ready to get on. That's not an exciting point for me at all. The exciting point is actually getting on the plane. For some people, it's getting off the plane at the other end. So you have to find out where is that most exciting point with procrastination to motivation. With the aversion therapy, with the submodality switch, we want something which they absolutely gag about. It has to be something like, oh, dog poop, oh, vomit, cleaning up vomit. Oh, they have to have that expression on the face. If it's just, no, I don't like cleaning up baby poop, it's not going to work. You have to get something really strong, especially with smoking. It has to be so strong that they just are not interested anymore. I was online with a guy. Oh no, it was in real life. And he said to me, can I just have a quick smoke halfway through? And I said, absolutely. I said, just before you go, I said, let me do this little submodality switch. I said, and then you can go and get your cigarette. So we did I did the how fabulous it is to smoke and how great it is. And then we did the dog poop, him picking up dog poop. And then I switched them out so that when he took a puff of his cigarette, he was thinking about dog poop and the smell. And I said, okay, I said, you can go for your cigarette now. He said, no, I don't want to anymore. I'm good. Right. It's very interesting. Chocolate is really easy to clear with that whole thing, especially because it's even the same color as dog poop. So, we can, if anybody wants, we can always go over the submodality switch at some point. With the masters and with the 4-hour breakthrough, you want to be able to do this one. I'm tending to use it more and more, actually. And a few people have asked me, which techniques should I be using? Well, we know we should be using all of them. However, what I found is, because you've got so many techniques with the masters and with the with all the others, what happens is you'll tend to just pick and choose a few that you're comfortable with. Once you're comfortable with them, you'll use them, and then you'll get bored. And then you'll think, oh, okay, I've had enough of that one. Let me go back to the book and see if there's another one. And you'll find another one and use that for a little while. So it's swapping and changing until you know all the techniques. Once you've done it for maybe a year or so, or your 50 hours or however long it's going to take, you're going to find you automatically go to the technique that you know is going to work best. Okay. The submodality switch does not work for cutters. Please don't use it for cutters. The girls who cut their wrists, cut their arms. It works great for just about everything except cutting. Okay, because the biggest thing is you're asking for emotions with that one. And when they're cutting, they don't have any emotions. They feel neutral. So you're going to make them more neutral about cutting, which is something you really don't want to do. It's actually going to make it worse, not better, right? But other things, absolutely. Any kind of emotion, depression, sadness, anger, fear, etc. That's really easy to do. When we're using the emotional change, on the left-hand side, it's whatever emotion they want to clear, fear, whatever, anger, sadness, fear, guilt, anxiety. On the right-hand side, you have a choice of two things to do. And when I first started working with this, I used to use all kinds of, try to find the opposite of the emotion. It's just about impossible. So what I realized was it comes down to two columns. The one where I don't feel I'm in control of the situation, like I'm being sexually abused or I'm being yelled at by someone. Oh, they got the drum going now. It's a great place to live this. They go from the beach and they just drum away, or they got some horses going. Oh, it's so cool. So what happens is that you need to choose an I did it moment. If you look at the left-hand side, if it's something I can't control, someone yelling at me, someone abusing me, someone where I just feel like, I've not got any choice in this whatsoever, the right-hand column will then be an I did it moment when I feel so proud of myself. I was so amazing. Okay. And it's usually supposed to be when I did it, not when I was doing it with my friend and we both did it. It's really a me thing. It's oh my God, like when I got my certificate, the lady the other day she got her accounting designation, and she said it was absolutely magnificent. It was a party and it was just like so exciting and I felt so accomplished. And it literally, you read that 3 times while they're thinking of the old thing and it will just completely neutralize it. Remember, if it doesn't neutralize it, it just means you missed out the name of one of the emotions. That's it. Okay. The other thing, usually fear is a good one for this. So if you've got a situation where I'm afraid or I'm anxious, the right-hand column will then be a safe place in nature. And I usually say, which is your best place? Is it mountain, forest, beach, etc.? And it needs to be a real memory. In all of NLP, we use real memories. Imaginary memories are all well and good. However, the real memories are actually planted inside your head. So we can access them and then change them. Cool? So any more questions about that before we start with the 4 steps with the submodality switches? So remember, we take in information with with VACOG, visual, auditory, kinesthetic, olfactory, gustatory. We take it in with our 5 senses. And we take in a lot of other information as well, whether it's bright or, when you're thinking back to a memory, is it bright? Is it this? The only thing that matters with the submodality switch is where the eyes are pointing. We don't care anything else in the whole place, actually. What changes is the direction the eyes are pointed, because we process those emotions peripherally through our eyes. So usually if people don't know where their eyes are pointing, I'll say, close your eyes and then think about that situation, open your eyes and see which direction they're pointing in, and they'll do it very well then. Okay, so whatever that I was thinking of was up and in front. Okay, the second column has to be different from the first column. That's all it needs to be happening. If we do the second column with the eyes going in a different direction, 100% it's going to work. No, there's not even a possibility of it not working. So we've got to realize that if it's the same direction, you're going to double up on the negative. So what we're going to do is actually remember that if you've got a file folder or a document in the computer, you put it in a different place. It's still the same file folder. It's just in a different place. So I usually say, is there a time in that scene when you were looking in a different direction? And they'll say, yeah, I was looking over to the left at the guy I was talking to. And I say, good, hold your eyes there and just make it go still. Okay. So that way, you're going to get 100% results. The secondary driver, remember, that's called the driver of the memory. This will be in your exam, remember. The secondary driver is whether you're looking through your own eyes or looking at yourself in the picture. So you're looking at yourself and you can see yourself in the picture, or you're looking through your own eyes at the scene. Sometimes it can be both. Some people can be flipping backwards and forwards between looking through their own eyes and something else. If it's different from the first, from the second, and it really doesn't have to, it will 100% work even better. Cool? So those are kind of the ground rules we're working with. So we are going to start with Paul. And you can follow along with the sheets if you've got it in front of you. Actually, you know what I can do? I can share it with you. Probably the best way to do that. I did open it, the document. Let me share the sheet with you. And whoever isn't, let's do view, let's do speaker view, full screen. And we're going to share the document. There it is. Ta-da. Wow, look at that, it worked. Yay, amazing. So there's your belief change state. What needs to start with what needs to be changed. It says it at the top. Can you see that? So the first column, where actually we'll go through where it says belief. The belief is, when you have a memory, it becomes a belief. You've got, before you're 7 years old, that's where all your beliefs are actually made. That's where all the beliefs happen. Because 0 to 7 is your imprinting period, when you are actually picking up information with no filter in the way. From 7 years old, filters are in the way. And it's super important that you recognize that when those filters are there, you're going to have some of the information distorted. Remember, we delete a massive amount of information for deletion. We generalize. So what happens is something walking down the road and it's going like this, and it's got 2 ears and a little tail wagging, you know, it's a dog. Then we can make it specific. The distortion happens when emotions are stored with the memory. So when you go to retrieve the memory, it's a whole different memory. And that's why people in one family can have totally different experiences of their childhood. Right? One can have an abusive childhood, one can have an absolute magical childhood, because that's how they filter the information as well. Okay, so what we're going to do is get them to remember a one-time event. It's always got to be, with any submodality switch you're doing, a one-time event. Simply because your unconscious mind doesn't do generic. Really doesn't. It does one-time event only. So we're going to ask, is the picture, is the memory black and white or in color? That is black and white or in color. Those are two different things. It's not black or white or in color. People say, is it black or white or color? They go, what? It's black and white or color, two. Okay. Is it near or far? And I usually say, is it close to or far away, the memory? Because they say, what do you mean by that? You'll get the what do you mean by that. Is the memory close to or is it far away? Is it bright or dim? That's an easy one. Where are your eyes pointing when you think of that memory? So actually, when you're with them or when they're online, you can actually be watching where their eyes are going. Okay, so if I'm thinking of a memory, if I've got a childhood memory, I do have a childhood memory. Actually, I've got a memory of me going to see on the Behemoth at Canada's Wonderland. I was really excited. It's a big roller coaster. And when I think of that memory, it's actually over there. It's actually right and down, even though I was in the real memory, I was looking left and straight. But the memory is actually stored in my head down here. And I can actually see myself standing at the gate going like this, let me in, let me in. And it's really super exciting. So that's what we want to do, is find out where are the eyes pointing. It doesn't matter anything except this one thing. If you want to put a big 1 next to that, because that's your most important thing you're going to be looking at. How big is the picture? Big, medium, or small? I used to just leave this one blank, and then I would find that the people who were auditor digital would say it's 8 inches by 10 inches. It's quite interesting. They give you an exact amount. It's like, or they say it's a small TV. I used to just say big, medium, or small these days. Are you looking through your own eyes or at yourself? Remember, through your own eyes is associated. When you're associated, you're looking through your own eyes. When you're dissociated, you're looking at yourself in the picture. So are you looking at yourself or through your own eyes? Is it focused or unfocused? That's an easy one. They'll know whether it's focused or unfocused. Sometimes they say it's a bit blurry. It really doesn't matter what they say. You just write it down. Framed or panoramic? And quite a lot of people say, what do you mean by that? And I usually just say, well, framed means, has it got like a frame around it, or can you see the whole room? Movie or still? And if it's still, you just write still. If it's moving, we want to know what's moving. Tad James didn't particularly believe in taking details of this. I like the idea of finding out what's moving, because it makes it a whole different picture, a whole different scene if it's moving or not moving. Okay. Auditory, what sounds are present? Quite often there's none. It's amazing how many times there are no sounds present. Has everyone found that? It's like they just say none. And sometimes I will kind of lead them a little bit and say, can you hear nature sounds? Because if I want a nice scene, I want to hear nature sounds as well. So they'll, oh yeah, the birds are singing, right? But if it's a non for a negative thing, that's fine. They'll say, you know, my father's shouting at me, or he's yelling, or I'm crying, or something like that. You can also have with auditory a self-talk. Are you saying something to yourself? So if you're doing dog poop, for instance, they'll say, "Oh, it looks disgusting. It's there. It's steaming." And I'll say, "Are there any sounds present?" They'll say, "No," and I'll say, "Well, are you saying something to yourself?" And they'll say, "Oh God, yeah." I'm saying that is so disgusting. Definitely, you want to write that one down. Okay. What sounds are present? What feelings are present? Remember, the feelings are what it's all about. It's all about emotions, guys. Your whole life is run on emotions. It's your survival mechanism. That's the actual event is moot. It really doesn't matter what the event is. It doesn't matter what's happening. It only matters what emotions are present. And the biggest thing about the event is that, like I said, the event doesn't matter. It's what emotional charge it's left behind it when it goes. So people will have PTSD experiences. They're going back to that same thing. They'll feel all the emotions with it. When you clear the emotions, it also completely neutralizes the event, and eventually the event will be forgotten about. I could tell you every minute of every bit of abuse that my father did to me before I was 7, when I went for talk therapy and all the other therapies, since I've been doing the NLP and the hypnosis. When I think of him now, he used to walk in the door and I'd see this big coming in, because he'd find the first person in the house and hit whoever it was and say, "That's before you start." So everybody would just scatter under the beds or in the cupboards and everything. Now, when I think of that same scenario with him coming in the door, he comes in like this. I don't know if he actually ever did that, and it really doesn't matter, because that's a very nice memory of him, right? It changes the memory, it kind of modifies things. And as far as I'm concerned, if you neutralize it or make it into a nice memory, it's good to go. Okay. What we don't want is any negative feelings still hanging around. The location in the body, and it's where the feelings in the body. And you'll get auditory people saying, "I don't know. They're not in the body. They are in the body." That's where we store our emotions, in the body. So I'll just say, close your eyes and just make somewhere up. So they'll go, right. So when I think of that nice memory with the behemoth, with the roller coaster, the memory is here in my head. When I think of my father, the memory is in my throat. So there's obviously something still to clear about that, because it's a negative thing. It's about me not being able to speak up, right? The color of the feeling, and it can be anything you like. Even negative feelings can be bright colored. They'll say red, or they'll say yellow, or something like that. It really has no bearing on anything. It's just an interesting thing to find out. How intense from 1 to 10? And they'll say something like 10 out of 10. The lady the other day who was attacked by a boyfriend, it was 100 out of 10. At the time. Remember, this is at the time, not now. Now it's gone, it will be a lot less. So we say, at the time, how intense was it? Okay. Hot, warm, or cold feelings. Remember, if it's a hot feeling, it's anger-based. If it's cold feelings, it's fear-based. Usually, if it's warm, it's usually in a positive description. Heavy, medium, or light feelings, you'll get anything for that. Usually heavy with negatives, light with positives. Sometimes they'll say it's a heavy feeling when it's a nice experience, like on the beach. And I'll say, "Is that a pleasant heavy?" And they'll say, "Yeah, it's a pleasant heavy." Cool. So that's the basic thing. Do we have any questions about that before we go on? Nobody? Okay, cool. So we are going to make a start. The first column is what we believe to be true. And we're going to work with Paul. We had a chat about it earlier, so he knows what he's working on. We were talking about the imposter syndrome. When you're first off a life coach, people say to you, you know, "How long have you been doing this?" And you go, "Oh, you're my first client." Yay. So what we want to do, I usually, when I was first starting out, I used to say, "Oh, a couple of thousand years." Right. And it's true, because you haven't been here for 2,000 years. You won't be doing this work unless you've been here 2,000 years doing it. and you always feel like, oh, I'm not good enough to do this, or I'm not good enough to speak, I don't know enough. Trust me, you are. It's a very Canadian thing to want a certificate for everything. They tried to make it so that in England too, they tried to make it so that if you've got psychic ability, you had to take a test. Well, ooh, nice motorbike. Actually taking a test for psychic ability is an oxymoron, because you have to be in a different place in your head to actually be psychic. You have to be up there, not in your head. So it's not, if you get great results, that's whether you're good. And with the NLP and hypnosis, you know you're going to get great results. It's non-negotiable. So Paul, what we believe to be true, we want a time in your life when you felt like an imposter, or felt like you weren't good enough, or felt like you can't do this. Have you got a time like that? You'll have to unmute yourself, please. Thank you.
Yeah, I do. I have like a memory of just like right before a client, before
Okay.
seeing a client, it was just like, oh my God, I'm gonna screw this up.
I'm gonna blow it. I'm not good enough. I
Yeah.
won't know what to do when and you know what? It'll happen your whole life. Right? I had a client the other day and I didn't quite get what she wanted from me. And I started the session. I was like, oh, this is going to be interesting. And she said she wanted to remember the sequence, but she didn't want to remember any emotions with it. I'm like, okay, then why are we working together? And it was very interesting. And by the time I sat in front of her, it was like, this is easy. And what I actually said to her, and this is what you might use, Paul, and everybody else, is what exactly do you want to get from this session? Usually you'll get, I want to feel better, or, you know, I want to get more money. So as long as you know why they're there, that's also a really important thing. Okay, what do you intend to get from this? Be careful on the phone, because what if they usually phone with one particular thing that they want to clear. So be careful about actually clearing it while you're on the phone. People, when I was doing readings, they'd phone and they'd say, well, I've just got one question. You know, they'd book the appointment for Monday. And I'd say, right, I'll see you at 7 o'clock. And then they'll say, I've just got one question before we go. And I go, what? And they'll say, is this the right man for me? Well, if they're asking the question, the answer is no, right? Because you'd know if it was the right one for you. It's like pretty obvious. And I'd say no, and they'd just say, oh, okay, thank you. And then they canceled the appointment because that was all they ever wanted to know. Right. So it's like, oh, so I caught on to that one. And what I eventually ended up just saying was, well, I need to be in your aura, in your presence, to be able to pick up from you the information, which is true, but it kind of makes it also a bit mysterious. You kind of want to be a little bit mysterious. So then everybody came after that. So where were you, Paul, when you were at that point where you were doubting yourself? And I'm going to call that self-doubt. So
I was walking from my office to the kitchen.
okay. So you were walking from office to kitchen. Okay, so we're going to kind of we're going to freeze that moment at that point. And when you think about that time, is it in black and white or color?
It's in color.
Is the memory close to, or is it far away?
It's
Or medium?
like halfway.
Medium, halfway. Is it bright or dim?
Kind of dim.
And when you think about that, where are your eyes pointing? I can't see.
Like middle and to the right.
So right and straight.
Mm-hmm.
Right and straight. So go ahead and put your eyes right and straight. Keep them open. Remember, this is done with all of this is done with the eyes open. Okay, keep them open, do them right and straight, and just listen. How big is the picture? Big, medium, or small?
Big.
Are you looking through your own eyes or at yourself?
Oh, nice.
Focused or unfocused?
Focused.
Framed or panoramic?
Panoramic.
Movie or still?
Still.
Okay. Are there any sounds present that are important?
Just my own internal dialogue.
You're saying to yourself,
Not good enough. Like, I don't know. Okay, what am I saying to myself? Sorry, I started thinking about what I was feeling. Just like who am I to even be doing this?
perfect. We've all had that thought. After 40 years, you might get one occasional thought, but usually you think, of course I'm good enough, I'm amazing, right? And it's interesting, you'll be told a million times that you're amazing, and then one person will say, it didn't work great for me, and you'll start to think it's you, and it probably is them that didn't do the homework properly. It's really interesting. We all take it on ourselves. And what feelings are present? We know self-doubt is one of them.
Like panic, anxiety,
Yeah.
embarrassment.
Embarrassed, humiliated.
Yeah.
Remember, we go through
Frustration.
frustration, right? Were you angry at yourself?
Yeah.
Was it as big as rage?
I don't think so, no.
Okay. Was it? And here's the thing: you can't lead people with emotions. People say you can, you can't. They'll say if the emotion's there, it's not there. Real simple. Okay, so if you say, "Is it this?" They'll say yes or no. There was one I just thought of. Hold on a minute. Was there a feeling of being a failure or scared of failing?
Yep.
Any guilt or shame there? Or just self-doubt?
Yeah, I think both.
Okay. With this 4-step, I don't usually go into the emotions that much. It's not like the 2-step where you want a lot of emotions. This is just like vaguely what it feels like. And where are all those feelings in your physical body?
In my chest.
Oh, you also used the word imposter when we were talking the other day. So you feel like an imposter, right? That was also in there. So your chest, and what color are the feelings? If they had a color, what color?
Orange.
Orange. How intense were they at the time? 1 to 10.
Probably a 9 out of 10.
And hot, warm, or cold feelings?
Hot.
So funnily enough, it was anger-based. It was not fear-based. So yeah, it's actually very interesting. Heavy, medium, or light feelings?
Towards heavy.
Towards heavy. Cool. Clear the screen. Do you smell popcorn?
Nope.
Remember, we do a break state at the end of every column. Always at the bottom of the column, you do a break state. Smell is the fastest way out the memory. And you'll get people saying, do I smell popcorn? Did you just ask me, did I smell popcorn? I'm like, yep, smell is the fastest way to clear a memory, to clip a memory off. And they'll just go, okay. You don't need to explain it any more than that. Okay. So we're finished with that column. Remember, we're never going to use this column again. Where we start is never used ever again once we've completed it. Okay, so what we want to be changed, we're never going to talk about that again, except to refer to it and then go into the second column. So the second column, we want something we know to be absolutely not true anymore. And this is a column where it's going to be like when you're 5 years old, not playing with your friends in the street anymore, or it's a car that I got, my very first car that I used to love driving in the countryside, or my very first house when I got my first house, or when I moved out from my parents and it was great. What we want in this is not necessarily a positive memory, but definitely not a conflicting memory. So if you ask me about my first car, the very first time I took it out, it crashed. The engine went, I didn't know you had to warm the engine up first, and it crashed. So it's not a good memory, you know, even though I know it's not true anymore, we want it to be a neutral one. So you don't want, oh, my wedding day was the best day of my life, but then we got divorced. Or, you know, it's not, we don't want a conflicting memory here. We just want a neutral or nice memory. So can you think of it, something which is not true anymore from when you were younger?
Yeah, like my first car, I don't have that anymore.
Your first car, and it had no negative associations with it?
Not that
No?
I think of. I had like a lot of positive association with it.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's positive or as long as it's not negative, I'm fine.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
But you 100% know you don't own that car anymore.
Yes.
Cool. That'll work. How old were you at the time?
Uh, 19, 20.
Okay, fabulous. And what we need here again is that one-time event. It's a snapshot picture always with some dollar switches. So can you think of a time you were in the car? Were you driving in it, or you were just going to get into it, or was it when you bought it? Where are we going to with that memory?
It's kind of funny. So it didn't have a CD player in the car, so I had like the tape deck with the wire connected to
Yeah.
like my CD player, and I just always remember like changing the CDs while driving.
Okay. Probably not very good to do dangerous wise. So let's take it a couple of minutes past that point when you're just listening to the music.
Okay, sure.
Right. We don't.
Yeah, I'm on the highway.
You're on the highway. Cool. Highway's perfect. So you're on the highway. You're in the car. What kind of car was it? Just for my information. I don't care. Right?
It was a Volkswagen Jetta. It
What color was it?
was black.
Nice. Cool. The Jetta. And remember, with NLP, we don't need much information. We just need to ask basic questions. Okay, cool. When you think about driving that Volkswagen Jetta on the highway, is it in black and white or color?
Um, it's in black and white.
Is it close to or far away, the memory?
Mm, far away.
Mm-hmm. Is it bright or dim?
It's bright.
And where are your eyes pointing when you're thinking of it?
Um, kind of up and slightly to the right.
Okay, which is exactly where you were last time. Okay, we
No,
do
last time I was like middle. This is like
yeah,
up.
still over to the right hand side. I want it totally different. Okay. I'm super keen to make sure it's as different as possible, the second one, because then it's completely never going to happen again. Okay. When you're driving, where are you supposed to be looking, Paul?
Straight ahead.
Yeah, I'm going to go there.
Okay.
No, do you imagine, remember being on the highway looking straight ahead, because that literally, and probably a little bit up because you're looking over the top of the cars, right? So, and remember, it doesn't matter where the file folder is, it's still the same file folder. So straight ahead and in front. This is the only bit of manipulation that I'll do because I absolutely want this to work. So straight ahead and in front, cool. Keep your eyes straight ahead and in front, watching that traffic. How big is the picture, big, medium, or small?
Medium.
Are you looking through your own eyes or at yourself?
Oh, nice.
Focused or unfocused?
Unfocused.
Framed or panoramic?
Framed.
Movie or still?
Still.
Any sounds present?
The music and like the road noise.
And what feeling? What feelings are present?
Just like relaxed, enjoyment,
Mm-hmm.
content.
Did you feel in kind of control of when you knew what you were doing?
Yeah, and control for sure.
Did you feel connected? Connected to God, connected to the car, connected to yourself, connected to...
Definitely like freedom.
Okay. Usually, whenever I'm asking a positive one, I always try and get some connection somewhere, because when we're not happy, we feel disconnected. When we're happy, we feel connected. So if you can do, say, you know, especially something like a safe place in nature, you'll say, do you feel connected to nature, to God, to you? People will say to myself, or to nature, or to God, to nature, and to myself. We want that kind of connection somewhere, because that's going to make that connection with the higher purpose, higher self.
I would say connection to self.
Connection to self, connected to myself, and free. Cool. And where are those feelings in your physical body?
I think throat area,
Okay. How intense from 1 to 10 at the time?
8 out of 10.
Hot, warm, or cold feelings?
Warm,
Warm. And heavy, medium, or light feelings?
medium,
Good. Clear the screen. Do you smell popcorn?
kind of.
So we're now going to switch out those two. And we're going to say, thinking about that time you had self-doubt, but this time, and then we're going to read the second column 3 times, remember? And we're going to do it fairly quickly. So what we've got to do is get the eyes pointing the second direction before we even start from the top. So that's why there is a reason for it to be about 4th down, because if I say to you, remember a time where your eyes pointing, you have no idea what I'm talking about. Whereas if I've already gone into, is it color, is it this, you've already got some direction there. So when you think about, I want you to think about that time you had that self-doubt and you felt panic and anxiety, but this time your eyes are going to be pointed straight ahead and in front. It's a black and white picture. It's far away. It's bright. Straight ahead and in front. It's a medium-sized picture looking through your own eyes, unfocused and framed. And it's still. And while you're there thinking about how self-doubting you are, you've got a movie going on in your head of you in your Volkswagen Jetta on the highway. You can hear music and the road noises. You feel relaxed, enjoyment, content, in control, connected to yourself, and free. It's in your throat. It's 8 out of 10 intensity. It's warm and it's medium weight. Again, think about that time when you were doubting yourself about coaching, but this time it's in black and white. It's far away. It's bright. It's straight ahead and in front. Remember, your eyes are open. It's a medium-sized picture looking through your own eyes, unfocused and framed. It's still. And while you're there, walking to the kitchen, you've got a movie going on in your head of you being on the highway in your Volkswagen Jetta, and you can hear music and the road noises. You feel relaxed, enjoyment, contented, in control, connected to yourself, and free. It's in your throat. It's 8 out of 10 intense. It's warm and it's medium weight. Last time. This time, you're there thinking about the self-doubt, thinking about you not knowing what you're doing, but this time it's in black and white. It's far away. It's bright. It's straight ahead and in front. Medium-sized picture looking through your own eyes. It's not focused. It's framed and it's still. And while you're there, feeling like you're an imposter, you've got a movie going on in your head of you driving your Volkswagen Jetta on the highway. You can hear music and then the road noise. You feel relaxed, enjoyment, contented, in control, connected to yourself, and free. It's in your throat. It's 8 out of 10 intense. It's warm and it's medium weight. Clear the screen, smell popcorn. And now try to think of that time and try and feel like self-doubt, and it will be neutral.
Yep.
Yep, neutral, no feelings there.
No.
Good. People don't understand what neutral is. They say, well, there's nothing there right now. Well, we don't want it right now because that means they're going to go out to the garbage later and get some more back. So we'll say it's neutral. And that's exactly where we want to get people when we're doing life coaching with them, is in that neutral place. Then we add in things later. The most important thing about this one, if there is some feeling left still, it means you didn't name one of the feelings that was important. So you go back and just find out what is that feeling that's been left over. But this time it's clear, it's clean. He will never feel like that again as long as he lives. He'll just completely feel neutral anytime he goes in that direction. Good. So the second part is the next 2 columns. And we're going to switch those 2 out as well. We've finished with the first 2 columns. They're done. So this one is something we know to be 100% true. We believe to be true. So if you were to pop your clogs tomorrow, Paul, you know that the sun would still rise, right?
Yeah.
Whether you're here or not, the sun's still coming up. Yes. And I usually always use this one. Sunset's okay, but I like the sunrise because it has that idea of new beginnings. Okay. So have you ever seen a sunrise? Do you remember seeing a sunrise?
I love them. I look at them out this window all the time. It faces east.
Awesome. Perfect. Even if it's only one, guys, it really makes no difference. We want just an actual memory. So can you think of a one-time event when you were looking out that window or the sunrise when you can remember it?
Mm-hmm.
You got it? Cool. When you look at that sunrise, was it black and white or in color?
It's in color.
Is it close to or far away?
Far away.
Is it bright or dim?
It's bright.
And where are your eyes pointing when you think of it?
Up and left.
Up and left. Perfect. Remember, it doesn't matter where the eyes are pointing for this one because we're not going back to the previous two. We're going to the next one. So this is the one off by itself. How big is the picture? Big, medium, or small?
Big.
Are you looking through your own eyes right yourself?
Oh, nice.
Focused or unfocused?
Unfocused.
Framed or panoramic?
Panoramic.
Movie or still?
Still.
Any sounds present?
No.
What feelings are present?
Admiration, beauty, awe.
Happy?
Yeah, happy.
Calm?
Content.
Content?
Calm for sure.
Did it feel peaceful?
Peaceful, yeah, definitely.
What happens is, guys, you'll get to know the feelings you're expecting. So they usually come to a halt after two. So when you start suggesting words, they'll say yes or no, or they'll think about it and then say yes, or they'll think about it and say no. We just want like half a dozen here in this column. It doesn't have to be a million, it's just half a dozen. And especially in anything where you're doing a pleasant memory, it's usually half a dozen memories. Where is that located in your physical body?
Like solar plexus area.
Okay. Oh, there was another word I was thinking of. Did you feel like a sense of trust when you walked the
Yeah,
sunrise?
yeah.
Sense of trust is really important when you're looking for something that's true because you have to trust it's true, right? So trust would be kind of important there. And sometimes they'll say no, in which case you don't write it down. What color are the feelings in your body?
Like red.
How intense from 1 to 10 at the time?
Six or seven.
Yeah. Remember that this is not going to be 10 out of 10 surround sound. It's going to be very pleasant. So pleasant is kind of lukewarm, which is 6 or 7. Hot, warm, or cold feelings?
One.
Heavy, medium, or light feelings?
Light.
Okay, the screen, do you smell popcorn? Okay, that's good. So the last one is the one we're really aiming for. Something you would love to be true. And we need a date with it. We actually have a date and a year. So you're going to put the date and the year at the top of the column. So this is something we would love to be true, but we know we're kind of a bit scared it might not be true because that's how we started. So either somewhere where you felt really confident, like doing like speaking at a conference, or a client who just says, "Oh my God, you've changed my life." What kind of thing would that be?
Like is this a real memory or
No, it's a future memory. It's what we'd love
future
to be
memory?
true.
Okay.
We would love this to be true. What would convince me that I am fabulous is,
Speaking at a conference.
okay. So give me a date when you would like to be speaking at a conference.
Do I be ambitious and do this year?
Okay, which is what date exactly?
July 20th, 2024,
What day is that?
Saturday.
Oh, good. I was going to say, don't let's speak on a Friday. You got nobody there. Saturday's perfect. So July 20th, 2024, you're speaking at the conference, and it's the thinking, what's it called? Hypno thoughts or something.
Hypnothoughts Live.
Thoughts live. So what we're going to do is imagine, this is definitely the imagination one. And we don't want to imagine you before, because you may well have stage fright. We don't want to imagine the middle, because it's like, oh my God, are they catching on here? Where do we want to imagine? The end. When everybody goes, oh my God, amazing. Ooh, fantastic. Right, that's where we want. Okay, we want the big praise bit, or even someone coming up to you afterwards and saying, that was incredible, you're really good at this. Right, so where would you like to go with that one? You've just finished and they're clapping, or someone saying you were fabulous, or
Yeah, like I think talking about it after with people.
Okay, so you got a group of people around you, someone saying you're amazing. Cool.
Yeah, that was like really cool.
Yeah, that was right. Really cool. Perfect. So I want you to be there on July the 20th, 2024. Is it in black and white or color?
Black and white.
Is it close to or far away? Near or far?
Close.
Bright or dim?
It's bright.
Where are your eyes pointing?
Up.
Oh, just where they
Middle
were.
and up.
No, we're not going there again. We
No,
don't
like straight up. I'm looking above.
straight up.
Huh.
Okay, that'll work. Straight up. So keep your eyes straight up and open, remember. How big is the picture? Big, medium, small?
Small.
Looking through your own eyes or at yourself?
Oh, nice.
Focused or unfocused?
Unfocused.
Framed or panoramic?
Framed.
Framed. Move your still.
Still.
Any sounds present?
Just like the room's buzzing, people talking.
And what would convince you that you were good? Someone saying what?
Yeah, just like I think people giving feedback on the work and the techniques.
Okay, that's very order to digital thing to say, Paul. We want an experience
Okay.
in the moment, right? So it's like, yes, just in general. It's like you're non-contradicting in general. Sorry.
I don't know. I
Specific.
kind of have a feeling of like laughing, like we're sort of laughing about it,
Okay, so you're laughing. I'm laughing.
connecting with people.
What's someone saying to you? What do you need to hear to convince you that this is amazing?
Like, I can't believe it's that easy to change or, yeah, to change something.
I can't believe it's that easy. And how do you know they were talking about you? You are, or
Oh, I don't know what you mean.
you're great. That was cool. You're amazing. You, not, I can't believe it's
Okay.
easy to become very dissociated when you say something like that.
Okay.
Remember, excitement is a hotline to God. If you've got excitement there, you're going to get whatever you go for coming true immediately. So we want something that makes you feel like really excited that someone says to you. What is it? There's a guy standing there.
I love the work you're doing.
I love the work you're doing. Perfect. Thank you. If you've got average feelings, you're going to get average results. We want something which is really intense when we're doing future pacing, right? Because that's going to do the GPS straight to the happy emotions. So good job. What feelings are present for you?
Like laughter, joy, happy, excitement, kind of like, I don't know, unlimited possibility, like,
Yeah,
I guess that freedom and connection.
yeah.
Like fully
Yes.
trusting in myself.
Right, trust in myself, perfect. What about accomplished?
Yep.
And you were talking about, what was the expression you had? It was a good one. Rapid.
Oh yeah, like rapid breakthrough techniques.
Rapid breakthrough. Cool. That's it. And where are those feelings in your physical body?
Like back of the heart,
Mm-hmm.
back of the heart area.
And what color are the feelings?
Green.
How intense from 1 to 10 at the time in future?
8, 8.5.
And heavy, hot, warm, or cold feelings?
Warm.
Warm, heavy, medium, or light feelings?
Light.
Perfect. Small popcorn.
Nope.
Change the speed. Right, ready. Now, this is where it gets interesting because we're not going to talk about the future event. We're going to talk about the sunrise. Right. So we're going to replace that future event, what we'd like to be true, with what we know to be true. Right. And it absolutely, this is amazing. It works brilliantly. It really does work brilliantly. So I would like you to think about that future date when you're teaching the Rapid Breakthrough at the speaking conference on July the 20th, 2024. And this time your eyes are looking up and left, as though you're looking at the sunrise. Keep your eyes up and left. It's in full color. It's far away. It's bright. It's up and left. It's a big picture looking through your own eyes, unfocused and panoramic. It's still. There's no sounds. And while you're there speaking at the conference, you've got a film going on in your head of you watching the sunrise. There's a sense of trust. There's beauty, awe, admiration. You feel happy, content, calm, and peaceful. In your solar plexus, it's red. It's 6 out of 7 intensity, warm and light. Again, think about that time in the future, July 20th, 2024. You've just finished a speaking engagement. It's in full color. It's far away. It's bright. It's up and left. A big picture looking through your own eyes, unfocused, panoramic, and still. No sounds in the room. However, you've got a movie going in your head of the sunrise. You feel a sense of trust. You feel admiration, beauty, awe. You feel happy, content, calm, peaceful. In your solar plexus, it's red. It's 6 out of 7 intensity. It's warm and light. Good. Play the screen last time. Think about that time in the future, July 20th, 2024, speaking at the conference. It's in full color. It's far away. It's bright. It's up and left. It's a big picture looking through your own eyes, unfocused, panoramic, and still. There are no sounds. And while you're there, you've just finished a speaking engagement. You've got a movie going on in your head of watching the sunrise. There's a sense of trust, a sense of admiration. You feel beauty, love, awe. You feel happy, content, and calm and peaceful. It's in your solar plexus. Is red. It's 6 out of 7 intensity, warm and light. Good. Clear the screen. Smell popcorn. Right. So now we ask, how do you feel about your self-doubt? When you go back to the self-doubt feeling, but between the kitchen and the living room, how do you feel about that? What happens now with your emotions?
It's just so stupid.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It becomes moot, right? And then when you think about the future, July 20th, 2024, how do you feel about that little episode?
Just right at the end, what kind of entered my mind was like, this is just like validation for like all the work I've spent in the past like 5 years doing.
Exactly. You know how to work with people, you know how to make changes. You've got the behavioral change from the masters. So hello, right? It's super simple. And like I said, the more you do it, the easier it's going to get. Isn't this a great technique?
Yeah, that's cool.
It's really cool. And the more you do the submodality switch, the more you realize that and the cinema model are your two best tools. Right, the mind magic, the cinema model, and the submodality switches are your best tools in your toolbox, apart from the quantum linguistics, of course, the belief change. Cool. Right. Any questions from anyone? If someone's still with us, we've been an hour or so.
Yes, I have this is Miss Shawn. I have a couple questions.
Okay,
So
Michelle.
each four of the different columns, should their eyes always be looking in a different direction for each column?
Thank you. Good question. The first two columns, different direction.
Okay.
Second two columns, different direction, but they don't all need to be in different directions.
Okay, what if column 1 and column 4 are the same direction?
Matter. You've already finished with the first two columns.
Okay.
Once you've done the first two columns, it's gone. It's put to bed. It's finished.
Okay. And then
the third and fourth column, as long as those two are different and the first two are different from each other, the rest will work.
okay. If you've already done the submodality switch and you have, would you use any of the information from the former submodality switch, or would you just start all over and do 4 columns all over again?
Usually I'd start again because with the submodality switch, generally you're doing emotional change and you're doing behavioral change, but this is literally belief change.
Yeah.
It's very much, it's along the lines of the quantum linguistics. What would happen if you did? What wouldn't happen if you did? What would happen if you didn't? What wouldn't happen if you didn't? It's a similar kind of thing. It's giving you all four aspects to the equation so that what you wish to be true becomes the truth.
Great.
Good. Thank you. Those are good questions. Anyone else?
Yes, Dr. Yvonne, when you're doing this, if people, they go, no, well, I see them both right in front of me. I see them both as bright. I see them both as black and white. I see them both as focused. All of that is okay as long as the eye movement is different?
Correct. They can all be identical across the board as long as the eyes are in a different direction. That's
okay, because I'm always like I'm always thinking, wait a second, you got to have something different, but as long as the eyes, okay.
They can be identical across the board. They won't be in the emotional bit, obviously. But
okay, well,
identical across the board as long as the eyes are pointing in a different direction.
Okay, thank you.
It is the driver of the memory. And if it's associated or not, or dissociated, so if you can see through your own eyes or through someone else's, it really, or through, you see yourself in the picture, it doesn't really make a difference. However, it adds to the validity if they're in a different direction. So you don't need to persuade them to do anything. It is what it is. Sometimes it'll be like, well, I can see them both. It's moving. That's fine. You put that right down too.
Okay. Thank you. That has really helped a lot.
Good. That's called the secondary driver, right? So when you got your primary driver is the eyes, secondary driver is whether it's through your own eyes or looking at someone else. And of course, a lot of the work we do in NLP is with eyes open. Hypnosis we generally do with eyes closed, but not necessarily. You can do it with your eyes open too. Cool. This is exciting work. I still love it. God knows how many years I've been doing it now, and I'm still thoroughly enjoying it. And I've invented 2 new techniques this last week, guys. So with the cinema model, I've actually added in going back to the root cause, the very first event, because I figured that would actually really get rid of it then too. So I'm going to rewrite that and I'll send that out to you guys. Yes.
I'm familiar with the cinema model. Do you have anything on YouTube? Because I know this training isn't about that. Do you have anything on YouTube about the cinema model?
You know what? You can simply email me and I'll send it to you.
Perfect. Yeah. Thank you.
Very simple. You know me. I'm fine at giving anything away. It really. I used to be very overprotective of stuff, and I'm like, why? Everybody needs to know this stuff. Everyone needs. If we can get rid of therapists, I'll be really happy, including myself. I'd like to have all of us not have a job anymore because everybody knows how to do their own thing. But yeah. What it is, you get the cinema model. It's a fast phobia model, and I've adapted it to cover emotions. So there's a little bracket that says put name of emotion in here. So what you do is you write down the emotions you want to clear. Does anyone want to quit demo? It's only 5 minutes. Should we do it? Yeah.
Well, what I was going to offer too to Cassie, because we need to get our hours. I'll be happy to do it with you if you
Yeah.
want to
Okay.
through it.
Good idea. That's a brilliant idea. But even so, Kathy, email me and just, you can have it in front of you then. You can see what you're doing. Brilliant. Yeah. I'm so proud of you guys. Oh my God. I'm really, really happy. It's like, you have no idea, like a dog with 2 tails right now. So yeah, you're all going to do amazingly well. And you know, the NLP works like, you can get it all not right and you'll still get fabulous results. Okay. The more you do it, the better you'll get at it, obviously, and the easier it gets for you. But it is something which is literally life-changing for everybody. Cool.
Yvonne, I have 2 questions.
Yes.
If I can. First question, the belief change, which is the one that we just went through with Paul, which has the 4 columns.
Yeah.
That is specific for beliefs. And so do we ever use I'm trying to understand the difference between the submodality switch versus belief change.
Belief change really is about a future memory. It's about planting a future memory that we don't believe is going to come true. So say you've got no clients and you're like sitting there thinking, well, what the heck do I do about clients? So your first belief would be that I have no clients, and they you sitting miserable looking at an empty calendar. Second one would be something you know not to be true. Then the sunrise. The last one would be within 6 months to the future. That's really important. It needs to be within 6 months. Your conscious mind can't take in much more than that. You know what you're going to be doing. Even this next Christmas is a bit vague, or this Hanukkah. But if we say what you're going to be doing in 3 years' time, there's no way you can know that, right? Who knows? If you told me 2 years ago that I'd be living in the Dominican Republic teaching online, I'd have said you are a crazy person. And here I am, right? So within 6 months, usually that is. So it's about something you would love to be true and you don't believe is true now. Okay. You can also do it with emotions. So say something like you had a really yucky experience with a person. And then the last column might be you meeting the person, just not feeling any interest at all in them. Right. But that's actually better there are easier techniques to use than that, actually. So,
and so that might be the submodality switch then.
yes, you could do. Yeah, I would do a straight submodality switch with that. Yes, I hate this person. They've been horrible to me. That pisses me off. I get anger. I get sadness, fear, guilt, anxiety, everything every time I think of them. The other one, and if I don't feel in control of that, then I'm going to do an I did it moment. If I feel in control, but it pissed me off anyway, or I'm afraid of the person, I'm going to do the safe place in nature. So your second column always is your safe place in nature or an I did it moment. Yeah, it's actually really, really good.
Thank you.
So,
that makes sense.
Yeah, it's actually super interesting. I don't tend to do this the first session because what you're doing is you remember you're completing if you use this. This is a completion module where you go into future pace.
Okay.
So with the first session, you don't particularly want to future pace because you're closing the whole module down. Then you leave it a little bit open, just do a nice hypnosis and make them feel good, and then bring them out. When you're ready to complete the sessions, maybe you have 4 sessions, then you'll do looking in a mirror, seeing yourself slim, seeing yourself beautiful, and that kind of thing. This works really well for weight release, actually, when I think about it. So the first one will be looking in a mirror, see myself fat.
Yeah.
Last one will be looking in a mirror, see myself twirling around and laughing and dancing and in short, smaller clothes. But you need a date, and it needs to be a realistic date. And you'll get people who want to release weight, and you'll say, how much do you want to release? And they'll go, oh, 200 pounds in 6 months. It's not going to happen. However, it is realistic to think you could release £1 a week. So what you can say to them is, would you be okay with being 50 pounds lighter this time next year? And they'll go, sure. And then you can say that's only £1 a week. Right. And that you can actually imagine happening. You can't imagine £20 a week happening. Your conscious mind is going to throw that whole idea out. It has to be believable. Cool.
Thank you. And the second question is, if you find your client having their eyes closed during this, how do you stop that?
You say, could you open your eyes, please?
I didn't know if it had any other meaning, if they're being
No,
like,
they drift off. They'll go and drift off and go right into it.
okay.
Do you remember when we start any of the hypnosis, if you say we're going to do hypnosis now and they close their eyes, you ask them to open their eyes again. Remember, you're in control of the session. The second they close, they do something that you didn't ask them to do, they're in control of the session. You won't get as good results. So you just say, could you open your eyes, please? And then you'll say, oh, you've got beautiful eyes. Go ahead and close your eyes now. Right. I'm actually on stage next weekend. There's a guy here who's going to put on a hypnosis show, and I'm going to be on the stage. I promised him I would. And I'm so looking forward to it, because you tell me I'm going into hypnosis, I am there with my little cotton socks on. I'm looking forward to it. And I don't mind making a fool of myself. It really makes no odds to me. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Fabulous, guys. Then you can bring in any other modality you like. You know, Paul was bringing in tuning forks and things. I want you to get used to using the NLP and the hypnosis first. I'm teaching the hypnosis straight after the palmistry, by the way, in October. It's a 4-day training. And it is an easier sell. In honesty, when you say I do hypnosis, people say, oh my God, I've always wanted to try that. When you say I'm a master in NLP, people go, what's that? I heard of it. Not quite sure. So if you've not got your hypnosis certification, what I suggest you do is say, I do NLP. I have a master's in NLP, and I do hypnosis, because you do hypnosis with the NLP. You can't do without it, really. You're going to be doing the hypnosis at the end anyway, right? So as long as you mention the word hypnosis, you'll get the clients fairly easily. Cool. And anyone who wants to retake the masters, you get half price. Or if you know anybody else who wants to do it, I'd love that group last time was fabulous. It was a nice size. Everybody was really on board, super keen to learn. It was a blessing. Thank you all for being such amazing students. Cool. Right, we better go. It's been over an hour to do one. I thought this would take us about 10 minutes, but I'm really glad I explained it, because it also helps you with the submodality switch as well, doesn't it? Yes. Cool. All right then. So we are going to close now. And yes, you got a question? No? Oh, you're just saying goodbye. Me too. So I'm going to get this edited and I'll get it sent out to you. Please email me. It's going to be far easier for you guys to email me than me trying to find out who was on the call. I didn't remember to do the little click and enter thing where you put your email in. Remember, I don't do administration well. And what I'll do is I'll send you the PowerPoint, and that will be really useful for you. And I'll send you this as well. Cool. Right, guys.